Okay, so the title of my presentation is Locating Kapwa in Filipino Emotions. Actually, this one is an offshoot of I think my video is not working, so I'll just proceed. Um, the title, this is an offshoot of my research on Filipino emotion words, and currently I am applying for a grant to continue my investigation about the value of kapwa in our understanding of Filipino emotions. So, next slide. So, if we're going to believe on different surveys, we can conclude that emotional awareness is a distinct mark of Filipino-ness. This was confirmed in 2012 in a Gallup study, which stated that the Philippines is the most emotional country in the world. In the Axa Life Outlook Index in 2007, the Philippines ranked second among the happiest countries in Asia, while it ranked 38 in the world in 2008, according to the World Value Survey. Despite this, the predominance of Anglocentric view in the understanding of human feelings or emotions is still evident in here in the Philippines. It has become a convenient practice to study words in familiar or learned English words and meanings, and thus the need for extension and deepening according to the context of one's own culture and society is not emphasized. According to Filipino psychologist Virgilio G. Enriquez, this is dangerous, especially it may be the opposite of the truth to see the results of research in one culture conducted according to the perspective and language of another culture. Okay. So, because of this, I intend to further understand the Filipinos' perspective on emotion in the context of the Filipino value of kapwa. In particular, my objective is to locate the concept of kapwa in my understanding, uh, in our understanding of emotions. All right. Okay. So, Filipino English dictionaries generally give the words both and fellow being as translation of kapwa. It should be noted that when asked for the closest equivalent of kapwa, one word that comes to mind is the English word others. However, if we go beyond the words, the cultural context of kapwa is very different from its usual English counterpart. The English others is actually used in opposition to the self and implies that self is a separate identity. In contrast, kapwa, based on Enriquez's Filipino personality theory, is a recognition of self shared identity, an inner self shared with others, and it is considered a core value of the Filipinos. And emanating from kapwa is the pakikipagkapwa, which means accepting or dealing with the other person as an equal. For example, the boss and the office clerk may not have an equivalent status or role or income, but the Filipinos way demands and implements the idea that they treat one another as fellow human beings, or in our terms, kapwa tao, so fellow human beings. This means a regard for the dignity and being of others. So kapwa is a Filipino core value. As a Filipino core value is a result of our collectivist culture, and we know that in this culture orientation, there is more emphasis to the needs and goals of the group as a whole over the needs and wishes of an individual. Okay, so my main method of inquiry is focus groups. Using focus group discussions, participating students and professionals discuss their understanding of Filipino emotion words. I have four domains here: the saya, which is happiness; lungkot, which can be translated to sadness; galit, which is anger; and takot, which is fear. The information generated from the FGDs were matched to the meanings provided by several monolingual and bilingual dictionaries, textual literatures, and textual examples from Silang Library Tagalog Text Corpus. Okay. So the results are in Saya, I have four explications. Um, uh, and then some of the related words mentioned and discussed in the focus groups like tuwa, galak, ligay, and walhati. For lungkot, I had 6 explications and related words, lumbay, dalita, and dalamhati. Galit, we generated 8 explications and related words like inis, irita, tampo, and poot. And takot, I have 8 explications and related words, pangamba, and ligalig. But for this presentation, I will only focus on the most common interpretations of saya, lungkot, galit, and takot, um, vis-a-vis its concomitant understanding with an emphasis on the value of kapwa that emerged in the study conducted. Okay, so this one is saya, which can be translated to happiness or happy in English. This is the common understanding of saya that comes out of focus groups. I will not go much into details of this. I just want you to see it so we can compare it to the explication of saya where the value of kapwa can be seen. So same goes for other emotional words. So this one is the explication of saya with the value of kapwa or the more communal orientation of saya. In this orientation, so I highlighted in red those parts of the explication which I can which I considered maybe in this part you can locate the value of kapwa. Saya is manifested by giving consideration to kapwa who is perceived to have same feelings as the self. Like I feel something like this, other person feels, this other person feels something like I feel. As a result, doing good to others, such as helping or giving, as seen in parts G to J of the explication, is an important part of saya. Saya is something to be shared to kapwa. The feeling of something good is experienced because something good is happening to kapwa. This can explain why for Filipinos, every occasion like Christmas or festivals all year round is an opportunity to experience saya. And during the time of pandemic, saya is experienced by helping those in need through different community pantries that sprang up in different parts of the country. Now, this is the common explication for lungkot, which is a counterpart of sadness and in Filipino. By the way, I wrote all my explications in Filipino for my dissertation, and then I just translated it in English for this presentation. Okay, so this is the general way to see to interpret or to understand lungkot. Okay, and this one is where to locate kapwa in lungkot. Although the prototypical scenario of lungkot is something bad happened, there have emerged discussions in the focus groups that do not directly reflect such a component. First and foremost is the sadness. Foremost is the sadness caused by unmet expectations of oneself, or especially others like family or relatives regarding a task or role. This can be explained in the following explication. Therefore, the experience of lungkot in this explication does not directly refer to bad thing that happened, but to the good thing that did not happen, caused by the unfulfilled thing that was originally thought to be possible, not only for oneself, but for kapwa. This one is for galit, which can be translated to anger. Okay, so I'll proceed now to the text. Because of the value of kapwa and pakikipagkapwa, galit may not be expressed immediately and directly. It is important to emphasize, however, that this is not a submissive idea in the name of smooth interpersonal relationship. Enriquez has long clarified this by defining kapwa not as a value, but not only as a value, but also a standpoint, and as such, defying any abusive relationship. He said it is anchored in the question, what adaptation strategies do Filipinos implement in a harsh environment, which is related to the question, in what way do Filipinos express their feelings? From this, it can be seen that the manifestation of kapwa as a standpoint is the communicative behavior of insinuation and interpretation in response to bad events and bad actions. So for parts E to I, contain the idea of holding back or simply ignoring a person's wrongdoing out of consideration for a good relationship in the past. Such a component of restraint can be seen from giving anger a metaphor corresponding to length. Example, we have like mahaba ang pasensya or maikli ang pasensya. So literally it's like long or short patience. Or to a vessel, like napuno na ang salop, or literally it's the measuring tool for rice or grain is already filled and therefore you need to take some action. However, if such a bad action of a person continues, the resentment of the desire to resist or to prevent the bad action can be seen in parts J to K. Okay. Now this is lastly the common this is the common explication of takot, the general explication of takot based on the focus groups or the fear or fear. And then this one is um, another takot that a person feels has to do with concern for the condition of oneself and others, which can be seen in the following explication. The element of worry is placed in the longer process of thinking, feeling about something like with as you can see on part B, sometimes a person thinks for some time. That is rooted in a bad event that took place in a recent past or short time before now. For the participating students of my FGD, this bad thing has to do with the status of their grades. Meanwhile, for participating professionals, they identified the health situation of their aging parents. So that's why I put there to someone not like most others, so someone special as the source of such takot or fear. This bad thing can cause even worse, like dropping out of class and expulsion from the current course for the students and risking the lives of their parents for the professionals. Although clearly pushing for an action, the lack of direction can be seen. I don't know if I can do anything. So to conclude, for a society with a high context culture or with a long experience of communal relation like the Philippines, the value of kapwa is an integral part of daily lives, in particular of the experience of our emotions. Using NSM, um, it is my ongoing endeavor to capture and to locate kapwa in in our understanding of Filipino emotion words. And that's it. Maraming salamat po. Thank you very much.